What is Dubai's key ingredient for success? There are a lot of misconceptions, and these misconceptions do not allow you to answer the question, what is exactly driving Dubai's success and what sets Dubai aside from other global cities? Identifying the key ingredient of why Dubai is developing on that scale so fast for the last 30 years will allow you to make predictions if that will be continuing or it was determined by one or two things that already are finished, like oil in Dubai. It's one of the first misconceptions that the key ingredient of everything what's happening in Dubai is oil. But we should know that oil refinery or oil extraction is less than 1% in Dubai's GDP now, because oil reserves in Dubai were way less than in Abu Dhabi or in other Emirates, and Dubai's GDP is not relying on oil anymore. 30 years ago, when there were bigger oil supplies, the leadership in Dubai quickly understood that it will not last forever. They need to properly use that money to build what is now the key ingredient, and I'll tell you later what it is. So if oil is not the one, oil was just one of the resources that was used to build that key ingredient. And what other misconceptions we have over there in the internet? Well, one of them is cheap labor. Okay, we have many places in the world where labor is way cheaper in Dubai. We know all that places. We know the countries where people are coming to Dubai to make more money than compared to what they can do in their own countries. If cheap labor is the main ingredient, why back in their home countries they don't flourish? I mean, the cities of the same level as Dubai is don't appear back in that countries. If not cheap labor, if not oil, what is the next possible answer to the question? Many nonsense videos are saying that, Dubai is a place for the money laundering. That's a complete and blunt lie, because if we check the actual anti-money laundering legislation, Dubai is in a line with any other country where we have strict rules for anti-money laundering. If you are buying real estate, you are obliged to fill in all the necessary forms. Me, as a real estate agent, is obliged to check the client's profile in special software to check if he is wanted, if he is under sanction, if he has problems with financial authorities, if the sources of his income are raising any questions with authorities here or internationally. If he doesn't pass this check, I, as real estate agent or a developer, cannot proceed with any transaction with the property. So I'm talking only about real estate. So the answer to the question cannot be that UAE succeeds because easier to lend capital here. No, it's not. It's a lie. The legislation is pretty the same as in other countries. So with the anti-money laundering rules here, it's not easy to lend money in Dubai. You will be passing a lot of checks, but the bureaucracy is easier. So we should not mix them, because the procedures are the same, but the track how you pass them is easier. Another thought that is circulating in internet is that there were some one or two factors that allowed Dubai to boost, let's say, post-COVID time. The recent 3 years, the rise in rental and property costs and levels of appreciation, they are determined by the fact that the rest of the world is unstable. There are many political tensions, there are wars, there are other global events that make people move to Dubai. But when these events will eventually be resolved, people will move back to their countries. Well, that's not true again, because people are coming here not as refugees. They're moving their families, they're moving their capital and businesses and headquarters of companies, because the environment in general for doing business, for safety and for overall score, how you feel here compared to other countries, is way higher. But I've been on a track to build a #1 city in 470 metrics, including healthcare, education, environment for doing business, and now we see the fruits of that work. So it's not some global events, one or two of them, that drive people to move to Dubai. So if these misconceptions are not the driving factors, then what is? If you try to sum up all the Dubai success in the last 20 years, 30 years, me as a guy with a management background, with a management education, I can tell you that what management stands for is the ability to maximize your returns or to maximize the outcome of scarce resources that you have in your hands. So that's the very essence of management: human resources, natural resources, finance, etc. So if you stack all that, these are all resources you have. Only management determines how efficient you will be in managing these resources. And when I'm saying it, it's not about, pink unicorns flying on a blue sky. These are the actual results. Let's take a step back. 30 years ago, we compare where the track where UAE was, let's say, with other countries that had all the resources that UAE had. I'm originally from Russia. 30 years ago, we had the biggest territory in the world. We had world's second industrial economy. We had the most educated human resources in the world. We had all the possible resources that God created on Earth. Starting from oil, the reserves are way bigger than in UAE, going down to any other possible fossil or intangible resources. So if resources would determine success back 30 years ago, from the point we started, now number one country would be Russia in terms of economy, in terms of achievements, science, etc. And on the other hand, UAE had oil, and that's it. You need to figure out what to do with water, with fertile soil, with human resources, with every other possible component to build a global city. You need to import everything. Now, what can you do better than any other global city to attract the most talented people, the most educated people, to build something in this country? This answer, the key ingredient of success, is a focus on building the environment. When I'm saying environment, is a general picture of how life is set up in UAE or in Dubai. And it goes for business environment, for safety, for conditions for families, for doing business, for everything. If you sum up everything, it's in general how the city is built, how generally people feel living here in the city, what they benefit, what they get here compared to other global cities. So now if you look at where people are moving from, Dubai is winning people from London, from US, from Singapore, from 89 different countries. The main resource in modern world is the people who create the most advanced businesses, the most advanced technologies, services, etc. So if you can win the race for these people who eventually create industries, who create business, who create healthcare, education, technologies, etc., etc. If you win the race for that people by creating the environment that attracts them, people are not coming here now for 1, 2, 3, or 5 reasons. They cannot even name you all the reasons why they're choosing Dubai. And that's a result of focusing of management and applying the scarce resources they have in hands on human-centric management. The task was to build a city, the most convenient, the most safe, profitable place in the world where human can expand, can unpack his potential and maximize returns in whatever field he is busy in. So when the management is focused on this task, it creates environment, it creates systems that attracts people. So if the management is focused on creating a human-centric environment, then this environment eventually gains enough weight and now it gravitates people all around the world. Now a lot of people are gravitated to that mass. That's the answer. If we try to project what will be happening in the future, if Dubai was working for 30 years for creating this environment that gravitates people all around the world, it means that for the upcoming years, this trend will be there. It will be still attracting people. And if other city wants to do the same thing to win people from Dubai, they should be working on that task for the last 10, 5, I don't know, many years to be winning this competition from Dubai. I don't know any other city that set the goal to be number one in all possible human life dimensions, and that sets the goal to win the best people from all over the world and is constantly working on that task as the primary goal. If you know any, let me know in the comments, but as far as I don't know and I don't see a city that has this steady goal, steady focus on creating this environment as the main metric how to win people all around the world, then there is no single reason to predict any kind of crashes, competition, that people will be outflowing of Dubai, that they came out and they will be leaving. All that nonsense has no basis. If you know any solid reasons why people would be packing their things and leaving tomorrow, let me know. But for now, what I say, the goals that are set by government to increase population from 3.7 million now to 5.8 million by 2040, they are quite realistic because we are already on that track, and the increasing population means the increasing demand in properties. I made my first video about what are the current figures in demand and supply, and that figures show you that there is big room for supply to be added because right now demand is way higher. So the environment that government created attracts more people than the developers can cater with real estate. There are a lot of indicators that you can check for whether it's good time to invest or not. And some of major indicators are the growing prices for real estate, and it's not because of one or two factors like, let's say, mortgage rate. If any kind of market is growing because of low mortgage rate, it's exactly the bubble. Because the day the mortgage rates are raised, you lose the main driver why prices were appreciating. That happened back in Moscow a couple of months ago when mortgage rates went from subsidized 2%, 3% for some of categories of buyers. Now they went to 22%. Nobody is buying, nobody is selling. Well, actually, nobody is selling because there are no buyers. Mortgage was 99% share in property acquisitions. Now it's gone. In Dubai, you have 95% of transactions done in cash. So it's the healthiest market you can find globally. And you have a perspective where it's moving. Name me any other city where you have the same leadership in charge of city for 30 years. That line, that strategy will be continued by his succeeders. That gives you incredible stability and focus on development, but not on holding to the power, being in charge, etc. You have no competition for power here. So all your focus goes to how to become great, how to create the greatness of Dubai on global stage. You don't lose energy and focus on the question how to hold to power for the next 4 years. So that's the benefit of monarchy here, the benefit of one man being in charge instead of changing man in charge every 4 years. There is no other city that is run with more corporate model of management rather than public model. It's not a case for Dubai that tomorrow some populist mayor will take over and he will see his radical views and vision right in opposite direction where the city was moving before, so that when you are going opposite direction, you are eliminating all the previous growth. That's not the case for Dubai. It's closer to corporate model. The properties you buy there are shares of that corporation called Dubai. You have the same management, the same leadership in charge for the last 30 years. You have track records, you have historical data of how shares were behaving. And based on that, your investments will be more sharp, more predictable, more profitable compared to any other real estate market in the world. So just to sum up this video, the main ingredient of Dubai's or UAE's success is not some kind of resources, including oil. It's not some kind of leaps in legislation where you can import some money, etc. Management, leadership, the vision, and human-centric focus on creating environment, not in creating industries, but on creating environment that attracts people who create economy, who create industries inside economy, who create services and businesses and everything a human and country need. So when you are building your forecast where you want to invest, because real estate is a long-term game. When you are building your forecast where you want your money to be working for the next 5-7 years, keep in mind that the best track record for managing the city was in Dubai. If you can compare anything else, please let me know. Or if not, my contacts are in the description. You can leave me a message and we will pick some best options, some best stocks of this corporation for you. And this video will tell you what is the #1 investment opportunity right now that comes to the market once in a decade. And we are in days away of selling out that opportunity.